Hello students, I hope you all are doing good. This is me, Rajdeep Lekharu. I am the Director of Civil Services Achievers Point, and I have been teaching to students for civil services exam like APSC and UPSC since last 3 years. And as you all know, because of the situation of this pandemic COVID-19, we had to stop the offline classes, and as a result, I have started with the online classes recently. And we have come up with our own application that is with the name CSAP, which is going to be very soon available in the Play Store and also Apple iOS Store. So these are some of the new initiatives which we are taking forward. As of now, we have come forward with the initiatives like the GS course, the GS Foundation course, where we are dealing with a lot of NCRTs along with all the standard books from the perspective of both prelims as well as mains. And secondly, the other batch that we have started with is the newspaper and the current affairs batch, wherein I will be dealing specifically all the important news monthly, okay, on the basis of a particular month. Basically from two newspapers I'll be covering. One that will be the Hindu and second one that will be the Indian Express. Now, there are various methods of taking this class for the current affairs, and initially I had decided to go and read the Hindu with you, but lately I have observed and realized one thing, that a lot of questions in UPSC and other civil service exams are also coming from papers like the Indian Express. So you need to have a very balanced approach of opinion regarding any topic or issue under the syllabus of both prelims as well as mains. And keeping that in mind, I have decided to go ahead with all the important editorials and the news by picking up the important topics and news from both the papers, that is the Hindu and Indian Express. So currently we are discussing with all the important articles from the month of April, and I promise to bring forward the monthly analysis of the newspapers right from the month of January of this year. Okay, and it will soon be available in the app. I'll be uploading the videos one by one, monthly wise. Okay, but now for today's class, we'll be dealing with the some of the important articles and editorials from the month of April, and these articles are specifically from the dates between 16th April to 21st April. Okay, and I'll be again uploading many other video lectures, which will be comprising of the important news and articles from the other dates of the month of April. Okay, so let us go ahead with the first news that we have, and this news has been picked up from the newspaper of the Indian Express, which discuss about the balance sheet of World Health Organization, that is your WHO. And you all know that because of this pandemic era of COVID-19, WHO is very much in news almost on a daily basis. And when this type of trend is observed, you definitely can expect a lot of questions from this topic, and WHO will be definitely asked in the upcoming exams. So we need to cover all the important dimensions from this particular topic. And you know that WHO has been in a lot of criticisms are happening against WHO because of many reasons. So let us see one by one all the details what this editorial is trying to cover. So first of all, this WHO balance it, okay, you need to know that this is a specialized agency of the United Nations, okay, responsible for international public health. So international public health, if there is any issue regarding it, it will be looked after by the organization named as WHO, which is a specialized agency of United Nations. And it is a part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Group. So this point becomes very, very important from prelims perspective. And you know that the headquarter of WHO is in Geneva, Switzerland. This kind of questions are coming in APSC prelims also. So moving ahead, you need to know this diagram which was available in the newspaper, and a very important question can come regarding the overall contribution of who is contributing how much in WHO monetary wise, and out of the member states. You know that all the countries in the world are not the member states, okay, and also the organizations that are contributing to WHO all are not a country, okay, so they can be some private uh, philanthropist, okay, like the Gates Foundation. They are not, it is not a country, okay, so you need to know this. So overall contribution out of this, which specific country is having the largest amount of contribution? If you see this, then you can see that it is USA. But overall, if you if you see the others perspective, then it is 38.6%, and in the overall contribution, India is contributing hardly 0.48% of the total money being contributed to the World Health Organization. But if we see out of these member states, and from this chart, definitely you can expect a question. This kind of question always come in the exam if you are aware about the past year questions. And if you see out of the member states, which country is specifically contributing the highest amount of money to WHO, it is USA. Okay, and after USA, it is your United Kingdoms, then it is Germany, and then Japan. Okay, but I think uh, even China is there, and China should be in the second position. We will confirm that later on. But as per this chart, the USA is the highest. USA is the member state which is contributing the highest amount of money to WHO. Okay, and India hardly contributes 1% of the total money contributed to WHO out of all the member states. Okay, now recently WHO is in news and is being criticized a lot, and it has been mainly criticized by Donald Trump, the president of USA, United States of America, and United States of America has also decided not to contribute to this platform anymore. So let us see how and why, what are the reasons why United States is criticizing, okay, and is China manipulating the World Health Organization? You can expect a question in the mains to critically analyze the success of WHO. Is there any form of reforms that are required in this platform to solve the contemporary problems of the globe? Okay, and what can be the impact, or is it required for India to be cautious, okay, regarding the manipulation that are being done for WHO by many different other countries, like specifically China? So, in this article, it is being discussed that China is manipulating WHO. So does India needs to be cautious, and how it is doing it? Let us see one by one. So the first topic, okay, the subtopic that the article is discussing is how does WHO prioritize its spending? So this is done by the annual program of the WHO's decision making body, and this is known as your World Health Assembly. So definitely World Health Assembly is in news, and question can be definitely be expected in the prelims from World Health Assembly. So you need to know the basic 2-3 points about World Health Assembly, and the most important point is that the decision on which country gets how much depends on the situation in the countries, okay, and this is decided in the World Health Assembly कि एक country को कितना पैसे मिलेगा from WHO, कौन decide करेगा, on what basis it will be decided. So जैसे IMF, there is also another international organization, that is your International Monetary Fund. So there also you can borrow money from IMF, Okay, but how much amount of money a country will get? So what are the criteria? The criteria are different. Okay, it depends on the basket, it depends on how much a country contributes to that platform, but it is not the case in terms of WHO. In terms of WHO, it depends on the situation of a country. For example, in a particular year, if there is a epidemic of Ebola in Africa. So definitely in that particular year, Africa will be getting more money as compared to any other country, and it does not matter how much Africa has contributed to WHO and how much other country has contributed. So I hope you have understood this point. This is very, very important, and this is decided by World Health Assembly of WHO, and it is attended by the delegates of all member states. Please mark this point very carefully. All member states have to attend, okay, and they focus on specific health agendas. The main functions of this assembly, okay, which is held annually. So even this can be asked in the prelims, that is whether this meeting is held after 2 years or after 4 years or every year. So definitely this is happening every year, and it determines the WHO policies. It appoints the director general. It supervises financial policies and also review and approve the proposed program budget. So these are the basic functions of World Health Assembly. So moving ahead, WHO and India. So this type of statements are coming in the prelims, that whether India is a party to it from its foundation stage. So you can see India has been a party to WHO Constitution since January to 12, 1948. And I hope you are all aware about the formation of WHO. Okay, the founding date. It is your homework. Please go and see when was WHO formed. Okay, and on that year we have a international day. I can tell you it is the World Health Day celebrated. Okay, please find out. That's a homework for you. When is the foundation day of the WHO? So after this, India became a member on this, so this date becomes important from prelims perspective. So the next point, the first session of WHO Regional Committee for Southeast Asia. Okay, the first session for Southeast Asia was held on 1948, October 4th and 5th, and it was held in India in the Health Minister office, and it was inaugurated by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. And after this, the World Health Organization India Country Cooperation Strategy, in short CCS, this has been declared strategy for the year time period for 2019 to 2023. So this year time period becomes very important from prelims perspective. Simple question will be asked, that the WHO India Country Cooperation Strategy has been announced for which time period, and your options will be like 2019 to 22 or 2018 to 22, 2019 to 23, and so on. So you need to know the year and the time period, and it has been developed jointly. So this becomes important from prelims perspective, that who has joined the WHO India Country Cooperation Strategy, and this has been done by the Health Ministry of India and the WHO. So even this becomes very, very important from prelims perspective. So we are moving ahead. So what is this CCS? Okay, the country cooperation strategy aiming to. So it addressed the complex challenges such as the prevention of the NCDs. So this becomes very, very important, because you know that the present health crisis situation in the after the post LPG reforms of 1991, India has been suffering majorly because of non-communicable diseases like diabetes, cholesterol problems, hypertension, high blood pressure, rather than in what India was facing or in terms of health crisis before 1991, which was more of the form of communicable disease like TB, so and smallpox and so on. So now this CCS is aiming to prevent this NCDs, because this is also putting a negative impact on our youths and our demographic dividend. How? Because this is leading to premature deaths, okay, and which will be a huge loss for the country's economy, as there if there will be premature deaths, and definitely the youths of our country will not be able to contribute to the growth and development of the GDP and the overall economic development of the country. So this is a major point which is being addressed. After that, the control of microbial resistance. Even this is a very, very important topic in the health topic of GS2, because antimicrobial resistance, this topic already UPSC has asked question, even APSC can ask question, and we can deal with this topic in a different class. Okay, and what is antimicrobial resistance? This is about the resistance that your body develops, okay, because of misuse of the antibiotics taken by different individuals. Now this issue is coming up of because of many other reasons, like not completing your course of antibiotics, not referring to a doctor and taking any form of antibiotics, okay, over the counter sale in the pharmacies without even without even the condition of requirement of a prescription from the doctor. So these are some of the reasons we can discuss later. Then reduction of air pollution and prevention and treatment of mental illness. So see, this becomes very, very important from prelims perspective, that a simple question can be asked that WHO India country cooperation strategy is dealing with which of the following issues. So the first issue is your NCD, then the second issue is your antimicrobial resistance, third issue is your even air pollution. You might think that this may not be a thing, and the fourth is your mental illness. So all these four reasons are there, and there can be multiple choice based questions, and if all these are there, and then the answer will be all of the above. So this becomes very important for prelims perspective, so please see these 4 points carefully. Then next, we're moving ahead. On the ground, the WHO has been a key partner in the immunization program, like tackling TB, and also before it was doing it for polio, then leprosy and Kala-Azar, and also other new nutrition programs across the states. So these are some of the major initiatives. Okay, when we see about the relation between and the importance and significance of WHO upon India. So moving ahead, what are the reasons, that the immediate reasons for the USA withdrawal? Okay, so let us see what is the immediate reason for US withdrawal. So the US contributes, as we have already seen, 14.7%. Okay, so approximately USA is contributing almost 15%, which is a huge amount of the total funding of WHO, and almost 31% of the member states donation. So we have already seen this data in the diagram. So it is the largest chunk in both the cases. So but it receives only $62.2 million. So that means what this line is very beautifully written, that that is where most of the WHO funding comes from, and the list of it goes. सब मतलब इस लाइन का मतलब यही है कि सबसे ज्यादा फंडिंग WHO के पास आता है अमेरिका से ही, लेकिन सबसे कम पैसा जाता है अमेरिका के पास. Okay, so that is why Donald Trump is also questioning about the use of this fund, and it is criticizing that it is biased and it is getting manipulated by China. So we'll see that issue after some time. So अगर USA withdraw करता है इसको, then what will be the impact? So WHO के लिए loss of 15% of its total funding is definitely going to have an impact on the world over. लेकिन 15% अगर पैसा नहीं भी आया, ठीक है, but it is not severely hampering the WHO operations, because 85% funding to hai. But the most important point here that we need to emphasize upon is, अगर US को देख के कल अगर यूरोप भी बंद कर देता है, because we have seen that the next, because Europe is also a very, very important part, it is contributing a major chunk, okay, almost around 14% or so. So अगर यूएसए को देख के यूरोप भी बंद कर देता है, and धीरे धीरे one by one all other countries stop funding WHO, then definitely the world is going to face a major issue in terms of health crisis. Okay, so that should not be happening. So next, after this, we just need to know basic information about WHO. Was also in the news of Indian Express. Okay, so what is the mandate of WHO? Core functions of WHO. So you need to see that in this core functions, definitely there will be a negative impact on the operation and the functioning of these functions of WHO if the funding is stopped from various sources. So you can see that, and in fact these are also important from mains perspective. Anytime you might require to write this. Okay, so it is providing the leadership on matters crucial of health and engaging in partnerships wherever it is required. So you can see that the core function of WHO is to promote leadership in the field of health and also partnerships between different organizations or different countries or between different platforms. Second core functions, it is promoting the research agenda. Okay, so for example, even now it is contributing for the research work of the different forms of vaccines that needs to be developed for COVID-19. If the funding is stopped, so you can imagine what will be the impact on the research work which is being conducted by WHO. After that, we see that there are norms and standards, okay, and the implementation, okay, these are all set up by WHO in the field of health. Then you can see the different forms of policy options, technical support, and also monitoring of implementation of this, and also assessing the situations or development of in the time of like this kind of pandemic and different forms of outbreaks like Ebola or SARS or some other forms of virus outbreaks. So we have seen the mandate of WHO, which is very, very important. Okay, please note down these points and please revise well so that you need to know. Okay, because अगर कोई भी टाइम पे critical analysis of WHO का functions आते हैं, so you need to know the functions of WHO very well. So we are moving ahead. So क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस का क्वेश्चन के लिए मैं आपको प्रिपेयर करा रहा हूँ इस आर्टिकल के थ्रू. सो उसमें अगर क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस आता है, सो यू नीड टू नो बोथ द अचीवमेंट्स एंड द फेलियर ऑफ WHO इन अ वेरी ब्रीफ मैनर. दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, सो अचीवमेंट्स में हम देखते हैं कि दिस इज dealing with some of the most important achievements that WHO has achieved. It's not like WHO has always failed. ओके, सो जैसे यूनाइटेड नेशंस के ऊपर भी ये क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं. और रिसेंटली न्यूज में भी है कि व्हाट आर द रिक्वायरमेंट्स फॉर द यूनाइटेड नेशंस रिफॉर्म्स in the Security Council and what are the reasons that India wants to become a member of UNSC. So we'll deal the topic of United Nations separately in a different class, but let us now discuss the achievements of World Health Organization. So you can see that some of the WHO's biggest achievements came in the early days. Okay, in 1958, when the United Nations Socialist Soviet Republic, that is erstwhile USSR, had proposed the WHO-led smallpox eradication program. So you all know that the world is free of smallpox now, and that was only possible because of WHO. And disease was still endemic by 1966, especially in Africa and Asia. Okay, but by 1958 the WHO had taken this decision and now the world is free of smallpox. So that's a huge achievement. Okay, of WHO. The next year in 1967, WHO began its intensified eradication program that focused on mass vaccinations. So definitely this proved to be a huge success. Okay, second example, in during 1980, it is talking about the smallpox. Okay, so which was declared as eradicated from the world, and we all know that smallpox has been eradicated. Okay, which was started in 1958, and by 1980 the smallpox has been eradicated from the entire world, and this is the only disease to be classified this way. Okay, so this line becomes very very important, and this is a huge achievement of WHO. If we go ahead with the other successes, we can see that in 1978, WHO adopted the declaration of Alma Ata. So this is very, very important from prelims perspective. Already it has been asked in many competitive exams. This was an urgent and effective national and international action to develop and implement primary health care throughout the world. So Alma Mater was to develop and implement what? About the primary healthcare scenarios, because you know that in many developing countries and least developed countries, the primary healthcare scenario is very, very important because of non-availability of good infrastructure, non-availability of good manpower. आज के डेट में इंडिया में बहुत सारे प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर सेंटर्स में अभी भी स्पेशलाइज्ड डॉक्टर्स नहीं है, adequate number of nurse nahi hai. Okay, so these are major health crisis that the globe has been facing, and in this case WHO has been working for, okay, into the has been identifying the role and necessity of primary healthcare in assuring health facilities for all, which is very very important. So WHO has played a central role in global immunization programs against polio, measles, tetanus, and among others. So these are some of the success, okay, regarding WHO's achievements. Now, if we go ahead with the handling of the contemporary time period, because a question आएगा WHO, which is definitely going to come, so you cannot skip this point. कोरोना वायरस के ऊपर आपको लिखना ही पड़ेगा, because current affairs आपको लिखना ही चाहिए मेंस का क्वेश्चंस में, okay, आंसर्स में, along with contemporary examples. So let us see and see what is there. So in December 2019, WHO आपको पता है December 2019 में WHO's China office was informed about cases of pneumonia of unknown detected, okay, cause in the Wuhan city of Hubei province. So this is very important. Wuhan city कहाँ पे है आपको पता होना चाहिए. Hubei province कहाँ पे है? It is in China. Geography में ऐसे मैथ्स following questions आते हैं बिल्कुल. Okay, so ever since WHO is working actually to inform the world about the illness called the novel coronavirus, and even earned the praise of global health experts initially for its transparent and swift approach. तो उन्होंने काम किया है, ऐसा नहीं कि काम नहीं किया. Still, we'll see the criticisms where it went wrong. Okay, so it was the WHO that announced a global emergency. ठीक है, WHO ही ऐसा एक प्लेटफॉर्म था जिसने अनाउंस किया about the global emergency due to the spread of this virus and later called it as pandemic. लेकिन इन्होंने बहुत लेट डिक्लेयर किया है. 11 मार्च को इन्होंने डिक्लेयर किया है दैट कोरोना वायरस इज पेंडेमिक. सो उस पॉइंट में इनको क्रिटिसाइज किया गया है. ओके, एंड आई थिंक that your opinion should be also developed on this ki definitely WHO has made a major delay. Okay, so we'll see the criticisms. So that is where it has failed, but again it has performed its duties and it has performed its responsibilities. It has also raised $675 million to find a cure and spread awareness about this illness. तो डेफिनेटली WHO ने काम किया है, ऐसा नहीं किया, ऐसा नहीं है कि काम नहीं किया है, बट स्टिल वी नीड टू फाइंड आउट कि where it went wrong. Okay, so why is WHO under criticism? So the article is dealing with some of the unanswered questions, like questions were raised when WHO director praised China for the speed with which detected the outbreak and its commitment to transparency. Now you all know that the WHO director, okay, that person was appointed by China in 2017, and there was a huge politics at the back of it, who is from Africa. Now that the same person has actually said that China has done a tremendous job in declaring this outbreak. China was silent initial stage. China ने कहा था कि there is no human to man transmission of this virus. Even WHO also maintained the Chinese statement. China ने बोला कि मास्क पहनने की जरूरत नहीं है. It is not being transferred by air. Even WHO also maintained that statement. Or WHO is supporting that China is transparent at a time when we know that China is not at all transparent. So WHO giving that open backup to Chinese policy and statements itself shows that there are some manipulations being done to this platform by China. China has a history of keeping its data under wraps. We all know about it. Okay, and it was also trying to conceal the extent of the outbreak during the early stages. And WHO was in support with it. WHO also surprisingly maintained that this has been written that masks only need to be used by those with symptoms. But now mask has been made mandatory for all. Okay, so this was actually WHO was maintaining what China was saying. So this definitely says that the WHO is getting manipulated by China, and that is why this platform is getting criticized, and that is why a major country, that is USA, has stopped its funding towards this platform. Next point, that is again coming to the same point, that is it is having the affinity towards China, and that is why it is being criticized for giving China too much benefit of the doubt at the beginning of this pandemic. इतना benefit of doubt नहीं देना चाहिए था China को, and WHO should have questioned China at the initial stage, because उनका काम यही है. Okay, we cannot expect WHO to go wrong here, because ये ऐसा एक काम नहीं है कि they are doing it for the first time. They have been doing and working on this kind of issues and crisis throughout the ages. Okay, so they should not, so mistakes from this kind of platforms are not expected. WHO is now being called the Chinese Health Organization. It is no longer a World Health Organization. It has become the Chinese Health Organization, even as it is at the forefront of fighting its worldwide spread. Despite the criticism, the WHO is pledged to keep fighting against the current pandemic. So वो काम कर रहा है, ऐसा नहीं कि काम नहीं कर रहा है, but it has somehow being manipulated by China and it is becoming an open secret. Delayed response is a third criticism. So we have already seen that China had को ऑलरेडी पता चल गया था मिड जनवरी तक. यू कैन सी WHO repeated that China said human to human transmission of the virus had not been proved. आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो जनवरी मिड तक अगर इसको तभी अगर डिक्लेयर किया गया था and it would have been declared as a public health emergency. Okay, then many other countries like Italy, यूरोप में, अमेरिका में काफी चीजें पॉजिटिव साइड में रहती. Okay, which now we see that अमेरिका में 10 लाख से ज्यादा population and you can just imagine the growth of exponential curve that this virus is spreading. 10 लाख लोगों में अगर ये वायरस है, it will not take much time to get converted to 20 lakhs of people. Okay, so this is the huge challenge. Or and you can imagine कि March 11th में it was declared as pandemic. WHO took more than 3 months time period to declare this virus to be pandemic. Okay, so after this definitely US has been blaming for China, okay, for all these reasons, and we will come to know, history will speak, okay, who was wrong and who was right. So moving ahead, we are dealing with some of the failures of WHO. So we have seen the achievements, we have seen the criticisms. Let us see some of the failures of World Health Organization. So let us see one by one. The first point being that it has come under fire in recent years for its heavy bureaucratic framework. The WHO is going through a heavy bureaucratic framework which has led to a lot of inefficiencies, inertia, and even overreactions. Which can be visible, let us see some of the examples. Like during 2009 H1N1, you must remember, okay, you all must have remembered regarding swine flu pandemic of H1N1. Even this can come as a matter following. The WHO was accused of overplaying the dangers of the virus and aligning with pharmaceutical interest. आप इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते हो, यू कैन सी कि उन्होंने ओवरप्ले किया कि स्वाइन फ्लू से इतना ज्यादा उस टाइम डरने की बात नहीं था. ओके, बट इट वाज ओवरप्लेइंग द डेंजर्स. क्यों? यू विल बी शॉक्ड टू नो दैट द मेंबर स्टेट्स बॉट बिलियंस ऑफ डोजेस ऑफ वैक्सीन्स. ओके, सबने ये वैक्सीन्स खरीद लिया था दैट अल्टीमेटली रिमेन अनयूज्ड, लीडिंग टू द वेस्टेज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज और मनी. तो बेनिफिट किसका हुआ? वो जो कंपनीज इस वैक्सीन्स को मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे थे उनका बहुत प्रॉफिट हुआ. एंड maybe there was a huge nexus between WHO and the companies manufacturing these vaccines for the swine flu. सबका सेल बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया and that benefited monetarily these companies, but it remained unused. Okay, and there was a lot of wastage of resources and money. So this actually led to, okay, this shows that this shows a huge failure, okay, for WHO. The second point that we can see is that during the Ebola outbreak in 2013 and 15, you must have remembered this, okay, which we have seen in the African nations. WHO has failed to sound the alarm over the virus. Despite knowing about it, the thousands of lives were lost before the WHO could act. तो इस केस में उन्होंने बहुत लेट एक्ट किया. ओके, इट फेल टू साउंड द अलार्म देना ही उन्होंने बहुत डिले किया. जैसे COVID-19 में भी we have seen the same thing. So these are some things that WHO has been continuously failing. So we need to question whether the amount that the countries are paying to a platform like this, should there be reforms? Should there be reforms in the monetary part? Should there be reforms in the management part? So we need to see this part, which is very, very important from exam perspective also. And why has WHO failed? So regarding this question, if we see that why WHO has failed, so we can come to the point one by one. We can see that the mandate that this organization is having is very vague. Okay, so we have seen the mandates. Okay, the mandate is not specific enough. The mandate is very, very vague, and at a time when there is a global power imbalance, there is a huge imbalance. Earlier we saw the imbalance between US and Russia. Now there is a huge imbalance, okay, between America and China. We can see that the maximum funding is coming from USA, but the organization is getting manipulated by China. So there is a huge imbalance, and in this kind of scenario, it is very, very difficult for the organization to perform with 100% efficiency. So with this, we can also see that the WHO is having very little power actually. Okay, the amount of responsibility that this platform is having, but the power it is holding is very less. Because if we compare with some other international bodies like World Trade Organizations or United Nations, okay, they say, say for example, there are many environmental conventions coming up, और उसमें हमने देखा है कि बहुत ज़्यादा बाइंडिंग है. जैसे if you see the different environmental conventions coming up, it is binding on the countries. If countries are not doing something as per the, for example, if we go by the WTO, okay, that is World Trade Organization, अगर आप नहीं फॉलो करोगे उनका गाइडलाइंस तो आपके ऊपर सैंक्शन लगाया जाएगा. लेकिन WHO का वैसा कुछ नहीं है. Okay, it has no ability to bind or sanction its members. So maybe that is why also one of the major reason that why this platform is continuously failing. Okay, and जो बजट है इनका ऑपरेटिंग एनुअल बजट, वो तो बहुत सारे यूनिवर्सिटी हॉस्पिटल से भी कम बजट है इनका. ठीक है, so with that less amount of budget, definitely this global platform will definitely face a lot of challenges. Okay, so we have seen so many reasons that why it has failed. Okay, so what can be the way forward? So way forward is definitely the global institutional architecture of 1940. ये 1945 में बना गया था. तो उस टाइम का जो ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशन आर्किटेक्चर है एंड अभी 2020 का जो चैलेंजेस है, देयर इज अ कंप्लीट मिसमैच. So definitely the platform needs to go under a huge reform. Okay, the fundamental structural reforms में आना चाहिए. Okay, including making it more transparent, competent, and as well as accountable. Okay, and nothing less than a new social contract between states and the international system can serve the purpose. So definitely this needs to happen. Now we have discussed two editorials, okay, till now, okay, from different newspapers like the Indian Express. Now we are moving ahead with one more editorial, okay, regarding this issue itself. That is your China's role in electing Director General of WHO. So as I had already told you that in 2017, okay, Ethiopia's Minister of Health, okay, the person known as Tedros, okay, he was the Ethiopia's Minister of Health from 2005 to 12, and he was also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from 2012 to 16 of Ethiopia. And China actually catapulted him to lead the WHO as its Director General. तो सबसे पहली बात तो प्रीलिम्स में तो APSC प्रीलिम्स में तो you can definitely expect a question on who is the Director General of WHO. This is definitely going to come since WHO is in news, so you need to know the name of the person and he is from which country. Even that is very very important from prelims. So I'm also highlighting, you can see that I'm also highlighting all the important points from prelims perspective. Okay, so after this I also want to tell you that we'll be covering many sources like PIB, okay, Press Information Bureau, because that is very very important source from prelims perspective. We will be also focusing on the important points from prelims perspective for APSC 2, because from Assam Tribune, okay, because that is also required. And if you are having these classes, okay, if you're going through these classes, if you're going through the compilation video lectures from current affairs, definitely it is going to help you in both the exams, that is your APSC as well as UPSC. Okay, so now let us see one by one what this editorial is discussing. This editorial is discussing about the Chinese importance of China, that is that the country is having in terms of the health scenario, okay, and how it is also impacting, creating an impact on India. Okay, so let us see. And this editorial discussed that this pandemic, that is your COVID-19, has become a wake-up call for India. Why? Because you know that the public health is a rights-driven development track for any country. Now, health is your fundamental right. Right to health, even there are Supreme Court guidelines, verdict that right to health should be included in Article 21, that is your right to life and liberty. And that is why our country is also talking on the lines of universal health coverage. Okay, we have already come forward with schemes like Ayushman Bharat. Okay, so we have also come up with National Food Security Act in order to maintain a food security for all, because unless and until you are not able to gain food security for all, you cannot have a good health scenario for the citizens of the country. So public health is a rights driven development. Okay, it is a fundamental, it is a right of the, it is a right of the individual, or the citizens of the country. So especially for India, for a developing country like India, definitely, okay, this is a rights driven. Now at this time period, सपोज आप इमेजिन करो ऐसा एक सिचुएशन है जहां पे कोरोना वायरस एक पेंडेमिक सिचुएशन हो गया इंडिया में, सपोज भगवान ना करे बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया सिचुएशन, व्हाट विल इंडिया डू? क्या इंडिया के पास इतने सारे टेस्टिंग किट्स है? क्या इंडिया के पास इतने सारे वेंटिलेटर्स है? क्या इंडिया के पास इतने सारे हॉस्पिटल बेड्स है? क्या इंडिया के पास इतने सारे डॉक्टर्स अवेलेबल है? क्या इंडिया के पास इतने सारे क्वारंटाइन करने के लिए फैसिलिटीज है? या फॉरगेट अबाउट दोज थिंग्स, जो पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट्स है, पीपीईज, क्या इंडिया के पास उतने भी पीपीईज है? इज इंडिया एबल टू मैन्युफैक्चर ऑल दिस थिंग्स ऑन इट्स ओन? बिकॉज इस टाइम पे आपको पता है कि चाइना का सप्लाई चेन इतना मजबूत है, इफ चाइना स्टॉप्स सप्लाइंग टू इंडिया एंड इफ इंडिया इज नॉट एबल टू, और वो भी आप भूल जाओ, इंडिया जो भी मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है वो सारे कंपनीज का रॉ मटेरियल्स कहां से आ रहे हैं? मैक्सिमम रॉ मटेरियल्स आर कमिंग फ्रॉम चाइना. So this article discuss about the dependence that the country is having on China, which is very difficult for the country to manage, and creating and putting the country into a vulnerable situation. So you can see that China, though it is working to become the military superpower, it is also now seeking the same power in public health. And India, with its double burden of disease, okay, and an uncritical alignment with the WHO is fertile ground for data and dollars. So definitely India के लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा ये important है in terms of dollars also, because this is this is also having a huge interlinkage with your economy, okay, and the dependence of China for APIs, okay, these are the advanced protective instruments, okay, that India, if it is manufacturing, it relies heavily on the raw materials that is coming from China, okay. कोई भी फील्ड में आप देख लो, अगर फार्मेसी हो, बिकॉज इंडिया खुद को बोलता है that it is the pharmacy of the world because we have sent drugs to humanitarian assistance in lot of cases, okay, we declare ourselves as a pharmacy of the world. लेकिन अगर हम ड्रग्स मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं कर पाएंगे, अगर हम हमारे इक्विपमेंट्स नहीं मैन्युफैक्चर कर पाएंगे, बिकॉज हम हमारे कोई भी अगर ड्रग्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी के बारे में सोच लेते हैं तो उसका मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए जो रॉ मटेरियल्स चाहिए वो रॉ मटेरियल्स आ रहे हैं फ्रॉम चाइना. So if that is the case, then definitely this will be a huge challenge for India, okay, if it is so dependent on China. और अगर USA stand on WHO funding, if जैसे मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बोला, अगर if it becomes a domino effect कि USA को देख के अगर सारे countries stop कर देते हैं, then China might stop its exporting of all these crucial items to the other countries, raw materials. क्योंकि अगर रॉ मटेरियल्स बंद कर देंगे तो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट कहाँ से लेना पड़ेगा आपको? चाइना से ही लेना पड़ेगा आपको, बिकॉज नो अदर कंट्री विल बी एबल टू, बिकॉज इन शॉर्ट टाइम पे ऐसा एक सिचुएशन जो जब पेंडेमिक टाइम पे यू कैन नॉट वेट टू कम फॉरवर्ड टू मैन्युफैक्चर द रॉ मटेरियल्स फर्स्ट, नया नया कंपनी खड़ा करना पड़ेगा, तो यू कैन नॉट वेट फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. सो देन व्हाट विल हैपन, ऑल द फाइनल प्रोडक्ट्स यू हैव टू बाय इट फ्रॉम चाइना. So these are having huge repercussion effects, okay. So WHO needs money to help poor countries with weak health systems. So अगर China manipulate कर रहा है तो if these things, if the funding is stopped by US and other developed countries, then in poor systems, poor countries का भी weak health systems और खराब हो जाएगा, ठीक है. सो इशू ऑफ फंडिंग एंड स्पेंडिंग बाय WHO, इसके ऊपर बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन है अभी, बिकॉज चाइना मैनिपुलेट कर रहा है बोल रहे हैं, ओके, ऑल द कंट्रीज, यूएसए ने बंद कर दिया है. सो WHO हेल्प चाइना डिसबर्स एड एंड असिस्टेंस टू डाइंग पीपल एंड गैस्पिंग इकोनॉमीज. तो ये आर्टिकल यही बोल रहा है कि चाइना इज मैनिपुलेटिंग WHO, ओके. एंड जो आपका WHO, फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन द हिस्ट्री द WHO हैज ओपन इट्स डोर टू प्राइवेट फंडिंग via a solidarity fund, and China is expected to keep an eye on this. तो चाइना के बोलने के ही आपका प्राइवेट फंडिंग भी अलाउ कर दिया, बिकॉज चाइना को पता चल गया कि now the major countries will be stopping its funding, like US has already done it, तो पैसे तो आना पड़ेगा, okay. So definitely, because see, आपको अगर गेम समझ में आ रहा है, इसमें पैसे बंद हो रहे हैं फ्रॉम डेवलप कंट्रीज, लेकिन चाइना तो अपना इंडस्ट्री चला रहा है, मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है, तो वो खरीदने के लिए पैसे, सपोज एक गरीब नेशन, एक पुअर कंट्री, इफ इट वांट्स टू बाय द ड्रग्स और द वैक्सीन्स फ्रॉम चाइना टुमारो, ओके, बट द पुअर कंट्री डज नॉट हैव द मनी, सो पैसे तो उस कंट्री में आना पड़ेगा. कहाँ से आएंगे? WHO को ही देना पड़ेगा. सो WHO पैसे कहाँ से दे रहे हैं? प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, लेकिन सामान कहाँ से खरीद रहे हैं? चाइना से खरीद रहे हैं। सो बेनिफिट किसको हो रहा है? चाइनीज कंपनीज को, चाइनीज गवर्नमेंट को। ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट द पॉलिटिक्स इज ऑल हिडन. Okay, and China is, that is why it is manipulating. It wants to become the superpower not only in the terms of military or economy, it also in the terms of public health. Okay, so this is a very very uh, dangerous situation for the globe. So what is the conclusion? For India also, India must decide if it wants to blindly follow the blind or lead by bringing WHO back to its original promise. Okay? So India should take a major leadership role here, and at stake it is the country's economic security of its public health is a key component. Definitely, India can either be part of history or pick up the pen even in these times of distress and rewrite it. Okay, so India can itself also bring some reforms and push the reforms for the implementation at the global level. Okay, so with this we have come to an end. We have already almost discussed 3 4 important editorials from the Hindu and Indian Express, okay, for the topic of WHO and its impacts on India and the different relations between China and USA. And we have compiled many editorials like US ka band, US stopping its funding to WHO and all. I hope you have all liked it. Okay, so I'll stop this lecture here, and we will begin with the different lectures in the next lecture session. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you all have liked it. Please give your feedbacks to CSAP, okay, in the phone number that is your 8811877068. And we will welcome all your criticisms, and we are very much welcome to your positive criticisms. If you want these things to change, or if you want in a different manner, please let us know. We will come up with all the solutions. Okay, so let us stop here, and we will come up with a next different important editorial from the month of April in the next video lecture. Thank you so much.